Running a trades business isn't just about what you build, it's about what you learn, and sometimes the hard way. It's the kind of knowledge you pick up over time and wish someone had handed you soon. Welcome to Trade Secrets, powered by Metabo HPT, a podcast series where trusted, successful tradespeople and qualified experts will share best practices, strategies, ideas, even tricks and hacks that you need to know. Think of it as another reliable tool from Metabo HPT, just not one you keep in your truck, but one that helps you run your business better. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trade Secrets podcast, powered by Metabo HPT, a podcast designed to give tradespeople and aspiring business owners some of the best kept secrets, strategies, and stories that can help you build a stronger, smarter, more sustainable business. Today, I'm joined by Lyle Morris, the founder of ERS Construction, and we're diving into a topic that doesn't always get talked about, but really should, and that's the importance of building a business that aligns with your personal values. Lyle, thanks for coming on and doing this, my man.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for having me.
So before we dive into the, let's say, deep stuff here.
Sure.
Why don't you give everyone a little quick overview of who you are, what ERS Construction does, and even how you got started, because I think a lot of listeners out there are aspiring business owners. They might be just getting their business off the ground, and they're striving to really be in the position you're in.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, I guess to kind of summarize me as a person, I'm a husband and a father. I'm my wife, Alexa, and I have three amazing kids. Ezra, he's 6, Eliza's 4, and then we have a new baby, Ezekiel.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, for me, out of high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And then after that, I kind of bounced around, was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I tried working in a machine shop. That's what my dad does. Then I went to school for a little bit. I just never was like, man, I really am good at something and really like it. So I just kind of kept bouncing around. I had a little cleaning business for a while. But about 2017 or 2018, I was introduced to the roofing field. I went to work for a metal roofing manufacturer. We sold all the products. We bent the metal. We would get the big coils of steel in. And so I learned a lot about roofing and how a roof is put together. Then I just wasn't really cut out for that inside sales, retail
Right.
type job. I like something different all the time. So after that, I kind of transitioned to what's called a ladder assist. And so what that is for insurance companies, especially at the time, we would meet the adjuster on site when someone would file a claim. And if the roof is really tall or really steep, I would be the ladder assist gets up there and checks everything out. We'd come down, give our photos, and report to the adjuster who was on site. And then my wife and I, we lived in Georgia at the time. Every other week, I would come up here to the Raleigh area. I say here, we're not in Raleigh right now, but at the Raleigh area, that's where I'm from now. And kind of fell in love with the community and the area. And so long story short, I ended up taking a roofing job up here. And a few months later, I didn't really jive with the culture, which is kind of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, sure.
And said, you know what, I'm gonna just start my own company. And so that's what I did. And we've grown a lot faster and gotten to a place quicker than I thought we would. But yeah, that's kind of summarizes me up to this point.
Good for you. That's great. That's a good story. So the trade secret that you're bringing to the table today is personal values matter. And I'm curious what you mean by that. Now, is it about ethics? Is it about the kind of clients that you work with? Is it the way you treat your team? Maybe it's a mix of all that. Is it something deeper? What does it mean?
Yeah, I think personal values matter. It means that the way it does encompass all of those things that you said. It encompasses how you treat clients. What are you going to do when you're challenged with okay, should I? Because as a business owner, you're going to have to make decisions all the time. Okay, what are we going to do in this situation? What are we going to do here? But it involves how you treat people, how you treat your clients, how you treat your employees. And it does, it has to do with like, you're going to voice those things to your employees and your team meetings and things like that. But really it's all about how you act as the owner of the company and how you actually treat people, all the time. And so that kind of sums up, what it means to me.
Is it almost like, would you almost say it's synonymous like with your moral compass?
I would say so. Yes. And so, yeah, it's about, you kind of have to understand yourself and what your moral compass is and what your values are. And then hopefully through your actions and through just you leading the company, that's going to kind of, seep down and trickle downhill to the team.
So maybe you can bring this to life for us by telling us about your personal values, the ones that guide your company, and maybe even give us a few examples of how those values manifest themselves across different areas of your business.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, I think you can kind of boil it down to one phrase, and it's, I want to treat our customers the way that I would want a contractor to treat my grandmother.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
So, I come from the roofing world. We're a general contractor now. So we encompass all of that, but in the roofing side, especially, I would see people where they, would come out and maybe misdiagnose or maybe not necessarily tell grandma everything that, or how easy something is to fix, trying to get more money in the short term. And it's, I couldn't stand that. And so I think, so we have that as one of the big personal values. And then I think what really falls under that is one of the main ones that we try to just do this with customers, clients, everyone, subcontractors, employees, is great communication. Almost over communicate. So same thing. If we come out to, and this happened to me, several times, where if we come out and we give you an estimate and you're getting other estimates from customers, I've seen time and time again where they're waiting for 3-4 weeks to get an estimate from a customer or from a contractor, and they just end up just going with us because
you're communicating.
Yeah, we're communicating with them, and we're quick on it. So.
Yeah, and it's also how you'd want your, you know what I mean? You'd want somebody to treat your grandmother that way. It's great. Yeah, that's why. If when it comes to this, why do you believe this is something that other tradespeople and even business owners need to think about? In other words, what's the benefit of anchoring your business in your personal values?
Mm-hmm. So, as the owner of the company, your personal values are kind of they're going to bleed out into the rest of the company. Once you start hiring employees, your contractors that work for you, whatever it is, it's going to bleed out. So having your values tied to who you are as a person, and I didn't realize this when I started until I started telling the story. Yeah. But it really does help you tell the story of your company. Yeah. And then I think ultimately that's the best way to build long-term success, because you're not going against any of your own values for the sake of whatever the values of the company might be.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in a way, kind of, I could see that. It helps you tell that story. So you at least, interestingly, I bet once that's out there and you're talking about it and people see it on the website and things like that, the right people start to gravitate toward your company. So in a way, they're almost vetted, people that you hire and what have you. And it probably helps you even when it comes to, I assume, decision-making as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and as a business owner, as a leader of people in general, managing people, you're going to be faced with tough decisions all the time. So having something that you can fall back on as far as like, okay, these are the values of the company because they're my values. It helps you make that decision. And it's, again, it might not always be the perfect decision, but it's the less bad decision. Yeah. And so what's going to happen then is you're the leader and you are making these decisions based on your values. You're setting an example for the rest of your team.
That's a good point.
So they're going to, hopefully follow suit.
Yeah, well, you're bringing it to life. Absolutely. In a way. They're seeing like, oh, that decision was made because that decision ladders up to the values of our company. Yes. I could see that too. I mean, you're probably in a lot of spots where which way do I go here? Probably
Yeah.
tempted in a lot. I'm going to get to that in a little while, but you're tempted to go one way or another. And maybe it becomes, like we said, moral compass, the guiding light. Like, at least I know that if I go this way, that's who I am.
In line with, who I am as a person. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love this. And it really is, it's noble, admirable for sure. But I love hearing stories.
Yeah.
Right? I love anecdotes. So maybe you can give us a real example of how sticking to your values maybe paid off for you and your company.
Sure. So yeah, there's a ton of examples of, especially like, say on the roofing side, where we come out and we inspect a house, a roof that's leaking, and instead of saying, hey, you know what, let's try and file this claim against this roof, even though we don't really see any storm damage. Instead, what we'll do is we're going to say, hey, we're going to repair this for you. It's going to be, significantly less money. And they're happy with that. We fix the leak. And then a month, 2 months, 3 months later, they're calling us back and saying, hey, I've got this deck I want built too. Can you help me with that? Or
Right.
I've got a siding job. So there's definitely multiple stories like that where we did the right thing. And then later it was almost like we're building trust with that customer.
For sure.
And so they're like, hey, you helped us out here. You did us right. Can you help us again in the future?
But yeah, I mean, it's got to be a little tough sometimes. I mean, there have got to be times when you're kind of tempted to
Sure.
compromise your values. I mean, maybe you want to land a big job. Maybe
Sure.
you want to smooth over a problem. I mean, is that ever an option? Is there any wiggle room in this, any flexibility, or is it just a slippery slope where, you know what, if we compromise here,
Yeah.
it's just we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna get comfortable doing it and doing it over and over again.
I think it does get slippery. And I try to definitely instill that in the team. It's kind of along those same line. Another example is we did a deck for a older lady, and it didn't quite turn out right. There were some issues, but there was also the expectations on her end were a little bit different than reality. I'll just say that. So again, it was one of those tough things. Man, what do we do here? Contractually, we've done our job, but let's do the right thing here. And again, that's tough because it's like,
Right.
Man, we've done what we said we're going to do, but if we can just, I believe that if we do the right thing and we kind of give a little extra here, it's going to pay off in the long run. And so that's what we did. And ultimately everybody was happy. Got a little hairy for a minute there,
Sure.
dealing with angry customers, but all's well that
Yeah,
ends
see,
well.
it's interesting, and that's a great example of it because you're looking at it saying, we did it. We can walk away from this, but what you go back to that question. I assume this is how you do it. You go back to that and you go, okay, but let me go back to that thing that's on our website.
Right.
Is this how I want my grandmother to be treated?
Yeah.
And my grandmother might get ornery and mad and whatever, but I still don't want somebody to, not to treat her that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think when we talk about these, Lyle, these trade secrets, one of the things that's really important is for us to get to how.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In other words, how can the audience that's out there watching or listening to this do what you're recommending? So I have a couple how questions for you. And the first one is, how do you bake the values, your personal values, your moral compass into your company culture? I mean, do you actively talk about them with your employees and your customers or even candidates? Or is this something that's more of an action speaks louder than words kind of thing?
Yeah, it is definitely both. So my guys are always watching me. They're going to see how I handle situations,
Yep.
and that's gonna basically let them know how I want them to then handle those situations. But yeah, when I get in one-on-one time with project managers or sales team or office staff, then I always try to talk about how we want to treat the customers, how we want to treat each other. And it doesn't just go for the customers, it goes to our subcontractors, our vendors, the suppliers. I want everybody to have, when they deal with ERS, I want them to be like, man, those guys are they do their best and they do a good job. We're not always perfect, but yes, they're a good company and they really do believe what they say. And it shows. So yeah, I think it's definitely a mixture of both there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And here's another how question for you. Let's say someone out there wants to build a company around their values, but they just don't even know where to start. I mean, what's some advice that you might tell them on how to get started? I mean, is it about, okay, you got to sit down, you got to do some soul searching, right? And write these things down. You got to start sharing them. You're already living them, but you got to identify them and then figure out a way to kind of cross-pollinate them with you, as you will, if you will, with your company. How do you teach them this?
I mean, on a practical note, so kind of what you're talking about there is what I did. I like to, I'm big on meditation, just soul searching, if you will, just looking within and trying to just be a better person. So, man, what I did is I took poster boards and I just would start writing or drawing the structure of the company, our values, what the different roles. And I've got all of this on poster boards now, years later. And it's like, man, but I had about 5 poster boards and I just wrote all that out.
Yeah.
And, obviously starting the company, you're by yourself, you're doing everything.
Right.
But I had those roles and the structure of where the company is today. I mean, almost verbatim. And it's really neat to see. So I think definitely figuring out what your values are, searching yourself, because my values aren't going to be the same as yours. If, I know guys were making as much money as possible on every single job as their core value. That's fine. Then be honest about that and, set the company up in a way where that's going to be a success. But with my values, I think if we do all these things right, then the money and the profitability is going to come. But yeah, I think searching yourself, writing it down, and then living them out. And then when you meet those people that are going to be good additions and they align with those values, you it's a natural thing. And,
it's organic in a way.
It is.
You can look at it and say, I think it's funny because we all have personal values. We all have our moral compass. I don't know if we articulate it all that much.
Sure.
I think we, when situations come up, we might. So it does take that, like you're saying, you got to sit, I don't know if you have to meditate, but you got to do some form of that where the kind of this, just get that self-awareness where you sit back and say, these are the things I believe.
Yeah.
And once you write them down, once you see them, I think that becomes really powerful. And then you start to, I assume you're doing a job and
you're kind of going back to it.
You're kind of going back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you said, when you hit that fork in the road, you can at least fall back on something and say, and sometimes maybe there's not a perfect answer, but there is a, maybe less bad answer or a better option.
Right. It helps you get to that decision a little bit easier. Yeah. This has been awesome. I mean, you've given people a lot to think about. Before I let you go, how can we find you? How can the audience find you?
Yeah. So our website is ERS-construction.com.
Okay.
I'm on all the social media platforms. I don't always get on all the time, but yeah, they can check us out there and then, follow us on social media.
We'll throw some of those links in the description here too. But thank you so much, my man. I appreciate you being a part of this. I mean, this was great. I hope you come back on again.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, John.
So everyone out there, personal values matter and a lot to think about for sure. Of course, if you enjoyed this episode and the discussion with Lyle, plenty more where that came from. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you have a trade secret that you want to share or even a topic or a challenge that you want to cover, drop it in the comments. Whether you're framing, roofing, or finishing, Metabo HPT has a cordless nailer for every job. Forget the compressor. Ditch the hose. Power on with a nailer that delivers pneumatic performance without the bulk. Thanks to the patented air spring drive system, you get that same powerful punch you'd expect from a pneumatic, but completely cordless. And they're built for comfort. With a lightweight, ergonomic design, they're easy to handle, easy to maneuver, and help you work longer with less fatigue. Need speed? These tools shoot 3 nails per second with 0 ramp-up time. And with features like toolless depth adjustment and easy switch between bump and sequential modes, you're always in control. Plus, with a brushless motor, you get longer runtime, less maintenance, and a tool that's built to last. In fact, they're backed by a lifetime warranty, plus 2 years on the battery and 1 on the charger. So if you're ready to leave the cords and the hassle behind, pick up one of Metabo HPT's new cordless nailers built for the way you work. Metabo HPT, make, move, go.